Battlefield is back, and this time it feels like the franchise has finally found its rhythm again. Battlefield 6 isn't just another entry in the series, it's a confident return to what makes Battlefield, well, Battlefield. The chaos, the scale, the moments that make you laugh, rage, and cheer, it's all here, and it's better than it's been in years. From its stunning visuals and immersive audio to the refined gameplay loop, Battlefield 6 captures the essence of large scale warfare like never before. It's not perfect, but it's undeniably fun, and for Battlefield fans, that's something we've been waiting a long time for. Now that I've had a few weeks to really dive into the game, I've been able to put together my thoughts on just about everything Battlefield 6 has to offer at launch. From the single player campaign to the all out chaos of multiplayer, there's a lot to unpack here. So let's break it all down: what works, what doesn't, and where Battlefield 6 truly shines. So let's start with the campaign. After all, it's the part of Battlefield where the story and the scale are supposed to hit you first, and honestly, my experience was disappointing. There are moments where the campaign shows its potential. The visuals are great, those massive environments and explosive set pieces really capture that classic Battlefield feel. There's a tone to the game that sometimes works, and a few missions genuinely deliver that sense of chaos and scale that makes the series so much fun. You can tell the team put effort into making certain moments memorable, and a couple of them really do stick with you. But unfortunately, there's a lot that doesn't work. First off, the campaign is short, like really short. It ends just as things start to get interesting, and there's barely any time to connect with the story or the characters. Honestly, it feels more like an extended demo or a warm-up for multiplayer than a full campaign. The story itself just doesn't click. The pacing is all over the place, the characters never get enough time to develop, and the writing doesn't pull you in. I kept waiting for that big mission, that unforgettable set piece or emotional moment Battlefield campaigns are usually known for, but it never really came. And the ending? Yeah, it just kinda happens. There's no payoff, no real sense of closure. It feels rushed, like they were building towards something bigger but ran out of time. When the credits rolled, I literally sat there thinking, that's it? To make matters worse, it's bugged. I ran into visual glitches, broken AI, and even a couple of soft blocks that forced me to restart checkpoints. Stuff like that really pulls you out of the experience, especially in a campaign that's already struggling to hold your attention. Overall, you can see bits of potential here and there, but it never really comes together. I've played every Battlefield campaign since Battlefield 3, and honestly, this one just doesn't hold up. But let's be honest, Battlefield has always been about the multiplayer. The campaign might stumble, but the real test of any Battlefield game is how it plays when everything goes off the rails. When 64 players are fighting over one objective and chaos takes over. And this is where Battlefield 6 really starts to shine. One thing Battlefield 6 absolutely nails is the atmosphere. The visuals and audio are downright captivating. It really makes you feel like you're just one small piece in a much larger conflict. Whether you're sprinting across a war-torn city or fighting through open fields, there's this constant sense of scale that never lets up. Explosions echo in the distance, jets roar overhead, and debris scatters as tanks roll by. Every sound, every detail adds to that immersion. The lighting is stunning too, from the glare of the sun hitting your scope to the glow of tracer fire cutting through smoke. It's chaotic, it's cinematic, and at times it's downright beautiful. And the audio design? Easily some of the best in the series. The way gunfire reverberates through the environment, the sounds of shells whizzing past, the muffled chaos when you're pinned down, it all feels incredibly real. Battlefield has always been known for its sound design, but here it's on another level. Together, the visuals and audio create a Battlefield that feels alive, unpredictable, massive, and immersive in all the right ways. Battlefield 6 launches with 9 maps, 8 large scale battlefields built for all out warfare, and one smaller arena map called Saints Quarter for the quick close quarters mode. Overall, the maps are a bit of a mixed bag. Most feel distinct, both visually and in how they play, but a few miss the mark. Operation Firestorm and Mirak Valley are easily the standouts. They're massive, beautifully designed, and balanced in a way that lets every playstyle shine. Whether you're sniping from the hills or pushing objectives with your squad, these maps just flow perfectly. Manhattan Bridge and Empire State share the same Brooklyn setting, with Empire State being infantry only. They look pretty similar, but both actually play reasonably well, offering a solid mix of verticality and urban warfare. On the other hand, New Sobek City is probably the weakest of the bunch. The whole map looks like it's still under construction, covered in orange and brick red tones that make it feel flat and unfinished. And unfortunately, it doesn't play great either. We do have 2 more maps confirmed for Season 1. Hopefully, they'll help round out the rotation and give the map pool a bit more variety. Battlefield 6 gives you a solid arsenal, but not right from the start. You'll need to put in some time before your loadout really opens up, but once it does, there's a good variety of weapons and gadgets to choose from. Each category feels distinct, and the gadgets give you just enough tools to shape how you approach every encounter. Unlocking everything does take a while. It's definitely a bit of a grind, but we'll talk more about that when we get to progression. Still, after a few hours, you'll have more than enough options to start building a loadout that fits your playstyle. The gunplay itself feels great. Most weapon types serve their purpose well, and there's a satisfying rhythm to firefights. You can feel the weight and kick of every weapon. The feedback is strong, and engagements are punchy and rewarding. There are a few balance issues here and there. A couple of weapons perform better than they probably should, but that's something DICE seem to be tuning actively. The time to kill is also shorter than in most previous Battlefield titles, giving firefights a faster, more aggressive pace. Damage does fall off sharply at long range, so positioning still matters a lot. Battlefield 6 offers a fun, flexible combat sandbox that rewards both precision and creativity. Battlefield has always put objective-based combat at the forefront, and it feels more dynamic than ever in Battlefield 6. Whether you're capturing a point or holding the line against tanks and airstrikes, there's a constant sense of purpose to every fight. Destruction has been enhanced this time around, and it makes a big difference. Buildings collapse, cover disappears, and the battlefield evolves mid-match. It adds this layer of unpredictability that keeps you adapting on the fly. Team play and squad mechanics play a huge role in how matches unfold. Revives, ammo drops, and coordinated pushes can completely swing the outcome of a match. It's the kind of synergy that makes Battlefield, well, Battlefield. The class system is also in a good place. Each class has a clear, non-overlapping identity, from engineers holding the front lines with repair tools and launchers to recon players spotting enemies from a distance. It all fits together nicely, though I will say the Assault class feels the least impactful right now. Overall, the pace of the game is noticeably faster than older titles, and it gives matches a nice flow. It's intense, but not overwhelming. When it comes to game modes, all-out warfare feels like a return to form. Conquest and Breakthrough are as good as ever, huge battles, shifting front lines, and that unmistakable sense of scale. There's also Escalation, a new tug-of-war style mode, where objectives shrink over time, keeping the action focused and tense. There are smaller scale modes too, Domination, King of the Hill, and Deathmatch. These play out on sectioned off areas from the larger maps, offering fast-paced, close quarters action for when you just want to jump in and shoot without worrying about vehicles or objectives. When it comes to vehicles, Battlefield 6 absolutely nails that feeling of power and presence on the battlefield. In the hands of a dedicated engineer crew, a single tank can wreak havoc. holding down objectives, breaking defensive lines, and completely changing the flow of a match. The same goes for skilled attack helicopter pilots and gunners. A good duo can dominate the skies, raining down rockets and forcing entire squads to adapt their approach just to stay alive. Vehicles in Battlefield 6 feel strong and threatening, but not overpowered. They demand attention. You can't ignore them, and that's exactly how it should be in a Battlefield game. If your team doesn't coordinate, a tank or a chopper will run wild. But with proper teamwork and a few engineers on the ground, you can bring them down. It's that classic Battlefield push and pull, the constant tension between infantry and armor, and Battlefield 6 captures it really well. Vehicles make you adapt, they force teamwork, and when used right, they deliver some of the game's most explosive moments. Progression in Battlefield 6 is actually in a pretty good spot overall. The player XP earnings feel fair. On average, you'll need to play around 2 to 3 large-scale matches to level up once. That means you're unlocking new gadgets and weapons at a steady, satisfying pace. Weapon XP, on the other hand, is still a bit on the slower side. Even after the recent changes that increased the XP gain for the first 20 weapons levels, it still takes a while to fully kit out your favorite guns. The good news is, most of the key attachments unlock within those first 20 levels, so you don't need to grind endlessly to get a competitive setup. However, not everything unlocks just by leveling up. Some weapons and gadgets are tied to assignments, and this is where things get messy. When the game first launched, you actually needed to reach level 23 just to start some of these assignments. That's been lowered to around level 10 to 13 now, which is much better. But the bigger issue lies in the tasks themselves. Some are poorly explained, while others are straight up grinds that take days to complete. They are not the kind of challenges you'll finish naturally while playing. You'll really have to go out of your way, often stepping outside the normal gameplay loop just to tick them off. Thankfully, DICE is addressing this in Season 1, simplifying the task descriptions and reducing some of the more extreme requirements. So while the core XP and leveling system feels fair, the assignment structure still needs a bit more refinement before progression can truly feel smooth and rewarding. Battlefield 6 offers a solid range of customization options, covering everything from operator outfits to weapon and vehicle camos. Each weapon has a couple of blueprints or kits you'll unlock over time, usually one around level 10 and another closer to level 50, along with a handful of camos along the way. The nice thing is, once you unlock a camo for a weapon, you can apply it across your entire arsenal. The same system applies for vehicles too. Most of the designs follow a modern military aesthetic, muted tones, realistic patterns, and it fits the grounded tone of the game really well. Operator outfits are mostly earned through assignments, but thankfully, these ones are tied to core gameplay tasks, things like winning matches in certain modes or completing class-specific objectives. So unlike some of the weapon assignments, these feel a lot more natural to unlock. One of the key promises the developers made before launch was that all cosmetics would stay grounded and military inspired, and for the most part, they've delivered on that. The base game cosmetics stay true to Battlefield's gritty, realistic tone. That said, there's been a bit of a community noise around the Season 1 Battle Pass cosmetics, especially one particular outfit that's a little too flashy for Battlefield style. And honestly, I get it. It's definitely a bit too saturated and could have been toned down. But at the same time, that doesn't mean the game has to be devoid of color. Battlefield has always had room for a bit of flair. It is still an arcade shooter at its core, so a touch of personality isn't a bad thing. It's just about finding that right balance between grounded realism and fun customization. Looking ahead, Battlefield 6 seems to be setting up a pretty solid roadmap for future content. With Season 1 already rolling out, we're getting new maps, new weapons, balance changes, and a ton of quality of life updates that directly address community feedback. The developers have been clear about their focus. They want to build on the foundation they've created, not reinvent everything again. And honestly, that's exactly what Battlefield needs right now. Steady, meaningful updates that refine what's already working rather than tearing it all down. The big talking point though is the Battle Royale mode. According to leaks, it could even drop as a surprise with Season 1. So depending on when you're watching this, it might already be out. If that's true, and if it's done right, it could be huge for Battlefield 6. A free-to-play, standalone Battle Royale could bring in new players while keeping the current community active between seasonal drops. But it needs to feel authentically Battlefield. Large-scale destruction, vehicles, chaos, and that trademark team play. If it nails these things instead of chasing trends, it could really set itself apart. And that's what makes Battlefield 6 exciting. It finally feels like the series is back on track. It's not perfect. There are bugs, some balance quirks, and rough edges. But underneath all that is a game that's just fun again. The gameplay loop is addictive, the destruction is better than ever, and those classic only in Battlefield moments are back. The campaign might have missed the mark, but the multiplayer foundation is strong, and that's what matters most. If DICE keeps this momentum going, polishing what's already great and expanding with meaningful content, Battlefield 6 could easily become the best the series has been in years. So yeah, it feels good to finally say it, Battlefield is back. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, a like and a sub go a long way. I'll be covering the Battle Royale mode when it launches, so keep an eye out for that. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.